For more than 250 years, the Vikings were the most feared people in Europe. Their longships appeared without warning, their raids burned cities to the ground, and their warriors became legends. Kingdoms trembled at the sound of Viking sails. But in the year 1066, everything changed, not slowly, not over decades, but in a single, brutal battle that ended the Viking Age forever. This story begins with a man named Harald Hardrada. Harald was not an ordinary Viking. He was over 50 years old, taller and stronger than most men, and had spent his life fighting across Europe and the Middle East. He served as a commander in the Byzantine Empire, survived countless battles, and earned a reputation as one of the greatest warriors of his time. Many believed he was the last true Viking king. In 1066, Harald believed the throne of England belonged to him. So he gathered a massive Viking army and sailed across the North Sea with around 300 longships, landing in northern England. The Vikings quickly defeated local English forces and took control of key towns. To them, England looked weak, divided, and ready to fall, just like it had centuries earlier. The Vikings camped near a place called Stamford Bridge, confident and relaxed. Many had removed their armor because the day was hot, and no enemy attack was expected. They believed the English king was far away in the south, dealing with another invasion. But that belief was wrong. King Harald, Godwinson of England, had marched his army nearly 300 kilometers in just a few days, an exhausting and shocking move. Instead of waiting, he chose speed and surprise. When the English army appeared near Stamford Bridge, the Vikings were completely unprepared. What followed was one of the most decisive battles in medieval history. Despite being surprised, the Vikings fought fiercely. According to legend, a single Viking warrior held a narrow bridge alone, stopping the English advance and killing many soldiers before finally being taken down. This moment became a symbol of Viking courage, but courage alone was not enough. The English army was larger, better organized, and fully armored. As the battle continued, the Vikings were slowly overwhelmed. Harald Hardrada was struck by an arrow in the throat and killed on the battlefield. With their king dead, Viking resistance collapsed. By the end of the day, the Viking army was destroyed. Out of the 300 ships that arrived in England, only about 24 were needed to carry the survivors home. The rest of the Viking force lay dead. It was one of the worst defeats in Viking history, but the impact went far beyond one army. After Stamford Bridge, Viking invasions of England nearly stopped completely. The era of massive Viking raids was over. Europe had changed, kingdoms were stronger, defenses were better, and the age of small coastal raids had no place anymore. Ironically, just days later, King Harald Godwinson himself would face another invasion, this time from the Normans at the Battle of Hastings. But Stamford Bridge marks something unique, the final chapter of the Viking Age. The Vikings did not disappear. Their descendants became kings, nobles, and settlers across Europe. Their culture, language, and blood lived on. But the terrifying image of Viking longships appearing on the horizon, that fear died at Stamford Bridge. One battle, one fallen king, and the end of an era that once ruled the seas.